um, what wealth means to you, and why you think it's important for people to acquire wealth in their life.
Oh, well, great question. Well, wealth to me is freedom. Wealth to me is, and I'm going to define what I mean by wealth. I'm not talking just about money, because money today, especially given the economy, a lot of it's worth less and less and less. Robert used a really good example the other day, and he said, if you have $1 million, let's say you saved up $1 million, which isn't a very easy thing to do these days, but let's say you do. You save up $1 million. Well, in my parents' day, they could put it in the bank and they could earn 15%. So they could make $150,000 per year. You could live on that. Today, you have $1 million, you put it in the bank, you're going to make 1 or 2%. So maybe you'll get $20,000, which actually is below the poverty line. So money and wealth are very different things. And my definition of wealth comes from a gentleman named Buckminster Fuller, who we've talked about often. And Bucky Fuller, he was known as the friendly genius, and he basically committed his life to the betterment of humanity. And so Bucky's definition of wealth is the number of days forward you could survive without working. So, for example, if you quit your job, or you and your spouse or partner quit their job, quit their business, whatever that main source of income, and if you quit that, how long could you survive? So some people have some savings. And survival means, given your current standard of living, because a lot of people go, oh, well, I'll just cut my expenses down to nothing. I'll live in I'll go drive a beat up car, and I'll go downsize my home, and I'm not going to go out to dinner or entertain or anything. Given your current standard of living, if you were to quit your job or leave your business, how long can you survive? That's the question. That's the definition of wealth. So our goal, Robert and our goal was always to have infinite wealth, which meant no matter, without working, having money come in every month that pays for our standard of living. And since we've done that, and we started this is the whole Rich Dad principle right here. So it was in 1994 when we were financially free. And people went, oh man, you must have made a fortune when you sold your company. Well, no, we hardly made anything. We actually gave the company away before the Rich Dad company. So in 1994, we were financially free, but we did not have millions of dollars. We didn't have a stock portfolio. We certainly didn't have mutual funds. What we had was $10,000 a month, every month, coming in from our investments, which was primarily real estate. But our expenses at the time were only $3,000. So $10,000 coming in, $3,000 going out. At that point, we're financially free. And the beauty of it is that for the first time, I could really ask myself, what is it I really want to do with my life? Because up until that point, I was so busy paying the bills, working, making sure the money was coming in. So at that point, I got to go, God, what is it I really want to do with my life? And so Robert and I we created the cash flow game. But so it's freedom. It's a freedom to do what you want. It's the freedom to not have to report to a boss. It's the freedom to not have to worry about money. And then what happened as a result, that money that we have invested and is giving us the cash flow, it grows over time, and it grows over time, and you reinvest it. And so our standard of living, for a lot of people, when they retire, their standard of living goes down. Our standard of living actually goes up. That's a long definition of wealth. It's not about how much money you have, it's how much money that money is making for you and coming in every month, so you don't have to keep working hard all your life. Even if you love your job, even if you love your business. I have a lot of women friends that say, oh no, I love my business, it's my baby. Well, that's great, and that should be the way it is. Yet at some point you might want to go, oh, I think I need a little break. Or I want to let go of the baby. It's grown up to as far as I want to go. It's time for me to move on and do something else. But unless you have that other source of passive income coming in, you're going to be tied to that business or tied to that job. So it's about freedom.